Well, after having a look at checkboxes, let's move on to, well, kind of their sibling, radio buttons. The difference, of course, is that we may only select one radio button in a group of radio buttons. So right now it's not working correctly. So we want to ensure that we can only select one and then that we store the value of the selected radio button in some property. Let's use Vue.js to help us there. Well, we're storing the gender there, so let's go down to our data field here and simply add gender here. And I'll set it to male by default since, well, I am male. Of course, choose your favorite gender. Nowadays, we got a lot of options here. So with the gender set here, we want to go to the radio buttons here. And now the important thing is, how do we bind them? Again, I set them up in a Bootstrap style wrapped by a label to have the styling they do have. But the model is of course also added to the input again. So we always add it to the input here. Not to the wrapping label, not to the wrapping div, to the input. And here I want to bind to gender, just like that. Now I can copy this same code to my other radio button. Doing this achieves a lot of things in the background. First, Vue.js now knows both radio buttons belong to the same group. So if we save this, we can already see that I can only select one of the two now. Because again, Vue.js recognizes they're bound to the same model, so they are a group, so only one of them is selectable. That's the first important thing. The second important thing is that Vue.js automatically stores the value of the selected radio button, the values we set up here, of course, with the normal value attribute, in our gender property. And I can show this by simply outputting gender here, like that. If I do it like this, we can see that male is selected now, and now watch the area down there. It switches to female and back to male, female, back to male. So this is how easy it is to bind radio buttons, and of course you could bind more than two. The key thing here is to use the same model to which you're binding, and Vue.js will handle the rest, like grouping, assigning the value correctly. That is how we use radio buttons in a Vue.js form and how we can use the property as we switch between the buttons.